Yeah, love the temple sounds. We popping off in that 4, 3, 2. Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Prester John installment, number 69. HaWah. The approach taken by the Portuguese to the Jewish question was another version of this. They outflanked it. Instead of attempting to stampede it and swallow it up in the Castilian manner, they imposed a mass conversion upon the Jews, but allowed them to go on practicing Judaism. In open secret, they expelled those who refused to convert, but seemed to have held on to a very few among them who were useful, like Abraham Zacuto, at least for a while. The Jews were, after all, preeminent instructors in all kinds of knowledge the Portuguese most needed for their own particular brand of reconquista. We're talking about hijack city, Manai. In a sense, they were the very model for it, the most Portuguese of all people. Now, when you think reconquista, you see conquest, right? And, when you put in reconquista, it's going to take you, let's see. Let's just put in reconquista. Reconquista. The reconquista, Spanish, Galician, Portuguese for reconquest, was a period in the history of the Iberian Peninsula of about 780 years between the Umayyad conquest of Spain in 711, the conquest of the Christian kingdoms throughout Hispania, and the fall of the Nasrid kingdom of Granada in 1492. And since it's popping off in the Iberian Peninsula, Managa, we're talking more war. Now, these dates, man, has a lot to do with what's happening in the forbidden histories of America around this same time, right? So, yeah, all the Jews were being expelled. Right. I mean, the Moors were being expelled. Let's go. So the Jews were, after all, preeminent instructors in all kinds of knowledge the Portuguese most needed for their own particular brand of reconquista. In a sense, they were the very model for it, the most Portuguese of all people scattered their enclaves into the farmost orient, gathering knowledge from all corners of the earth. Yeah, corners of the earth, 4 corners. We're talking about the whole world, not just America. We know that we've been scattered, but let's keep going. Because I want to know what this has to do with the noble image of the Negro. So they went to the further orient. Remember where you are, my God. Remember the oriental. Let's go. Gathering all knowledge from all the corners of the earth, but bringing it back to where? In every age, there was always someone or 2 countries whose Jewish communities are the central repositories for Jewish learning and aspirations throughout the world. And Portugal evidently went on thinking of herself as one of these, even after the mass conversion and expulsion, quite typically wanting to have it both ways. She saw herself above all the homeland and the great tradition of the Jewish cosmography brought to her by Master Jacome of Majorca. And if a man like Abraham Zacuto finally left her bosom, even this was no disaster, because the success of his own services had in the end rendered his services obsolete. The ideal Jewish geographer of Portugal's new era was one who knew the Orient at first hand. Who's the oriental? And who was furthermore happy to accept the new religious dispensation. Gaspar da Gama was the ideal, and this is one reason why he looms so large in the chronicles as a symbol and not just a man. Gaspar's advent and conversion did not stand merely for the conquest of the Orient. However, he also represented its demystification when Vasco da Gama's ships at last led the way through the southeastern corner of the Okomini, penetrating through the ancient imaginative haze into the clear light of scientific geography. They found on the other side not the lost tribes of Israel, but a wandering Jew, apparently of European and perhaps Iberian origin at that. So when Vasco da Gama's ships at last led the way through the southeastern corner of what they call Okumene, Oikumene, penetrating through the ancient imaginative haze into the clear light of scientific geography, they found on the other side not the lost tribes of Israel, but a wandering Jew, apparently of European or perhaps Iberian origin. Gaspar's return on board was like the black captives coming back from the Ghanaian voyages, a symbol of the reducing and taking in hand of the awesome South and East. The most dramatic of such demystifications, however, took place a few years later in 1520, when a Portuguese diplomat mission arrived in Ethiopia, and the blurred and dreamlike vision of centuries hardened into focus at last. What the guests found was not the jewel-studded rim of the Prester John legend. So you see, this is what they're looking for, my noggin. I mean, we're talking Portugal, right? The Portuguese keep on looking for the Prester, right? (1145 to 1645). Or is 1145, 1645. Love to the 10. Hey, but either way, we know they look for this man a long time, and we know that his, being searched for correlates to your searching and you being searched for. I mean, it's all happening, right? It's all happening. It's all happening. When they talk Orient, they're talking India Superior. This is the Orient. This is the Far East to them. They're way over there, right? The map is flipped upside down. So turn your computer over and you're going to see more correct orientation. And when you get, into America and into Mexico, you run right into Prester John. Yeah. Mexico, right? Florida, India Superior, Prester John. Now, why would they have this so-called black man right over here with Cibola, Shimbala, Sheba? Hey, we were talking that Tamar drop. We're going to talk a little more Tamar drop. Rusadan. You'll see why we had to go there in order to continue, this particular wave that we are on. You know what I'm saying? As a classroom. This is installment, my naga, number 69. Yeah. We talking India Superior. We got them Tibetan bowls, you know what I'm saying? Getting us tuned all the way up. My naga, why is Prester John right here in America, right? So when they talk orient, yeah, you know exactly where you're at. Why were they searching for Prester John? The Portuguese. This is a Portuguese monument in Portugal. And if you read it the way they're, writing it, it sure does appear they searched for a long time, right? 500 years. What does their searching have to do with your search? What does their search have to do with our search? Or their search to find us? Or our search to find us to this day? Why search for Con David? Why search for Prester John? Is it because when David cries out to HaWah, right? When David cries out directly to HaWah, my HaWah, my rock, in him I take refuge. Praise I cry is HaWah. In my distress I called upon my creator, HaWah. I cried unto HaWah. And out of his temple, right? We got them temple sounds going. Out of his temple, he heard my voice. So it's something about the frequency of Dawid, the innocent king. I love the Mac, man. And it's just like, why would they throw this smut on David, man, to take away his perfection and give it to someone else? To give it to a son of David who HaWah never hears. Because if he heard this son, he would, the whole earth will start to quake and shake, my naga. The foundations of the mountains would tremble if JC was able to be heard. Nah, man. Why do you search for Con David? Out of his temple he heard my voice, and my cry came before him unto his ears. Then what? Well, dragon time, smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth did devour coals flame forth from him. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and thick darkness was under his feet. You talking about who? I cried unto my God, right? I cried unto the Lord, right? And HaWah answers how? With smoke out of his nose, fire out of his mouth. Devouring. I'm talking about the last noble image. So, we went a long time without a king, a Khan. We went a long time, for Israel shall sit solitary many days without a king. You're reading about your nobility, whether you're reading about Queen Tamar and Hannah and Rusadan. Wow. Whether you're reading about King David or Solomon or Daniel, Gilead. You've gone a long time, man. If you look around and you think these leaders today for the black community have anything to do with the king, the prince. Ain't no sacrifices, man. Not until HaWah forgives the tribe and come down with what? Smoke out of his nostrils, fire out of his mouth. You're not just looking for your dragons to pop off. You're looking for HaWah to pop off. HaWah's on the front line for Israel. We've gone a long time without this pillar, effort, teraphim. Yeah, man. Let's check out this KJV. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice, without an image. See, they didn't put that over there in the JPS, right? I mean, you can't say that we've gone a long time without the image if the image is JC hanging on the cross, right? Because you got that image. Grandma has that image hanging up on her wall. So what image, what prince, what king, what image have you gone many days without? What image? So by the time they get to Ethiopia, they say, another dry run. What the guests found was not jewel-studded rim of Prester John, but the thatched roofs and hewn rock of the kingdom of Lebna Dangle. Now, Lebna Dangle is mentioned in the genealogies of the Ethiopian royals, right? Also known as King David. The missions priest and chronicler Francisco Alvarez was no doubt thinking of the fabulous processions of the former when he described the character of those made by the real-life monarch, whom he and the Portuguese continue to refer to as Prester John in spite of everything. Remember, Prester didn't call himself Prester. This is what the Portuguese are calling this priest king or this Melchizedek. This is Zedek. Hey, man, love to the bro Red Eagle, man. Dropping amazing drop in the drop chatter. Chatter. Y'all get in drop chatter, man, because the drop chatter is litty and drop city. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, my consistent cons over here dropping consistent drop. Love to get child. He found a trend, or he was able to translate or found a translated copy, either one, of that whole entire Joseph drop, the one that we've been doing. And he said, hey, man, here's some drop. Here's how to save a web page as a PDF on Windows and Google Chrome. All right, you hit up the web page you want to save. In the top right corner of the screen, click the three dots to bring down the browser menu. From the drop-down menu, choose print. The print settings will appear. Save destination of PDF. No more cut on the drop. We got pure water, you hear me? Hey, man, straight out of every pot every time, and we ain't got to search for no PDF. We make them now. No more middleman. My bro popping off. Just always download the pictures separate. Okay. Templar said, what they do? Shabbat Shalom, Halal HaWah, checking in while replaying Prester John 68. Okay, Temp. Hey, hop to the Templar. Dragon Child been popping off, man. Dropping some good drop on this canyon. Hey, man, y'all better get in there, man. Templar, Dragon Child popping off. Red Eagle popping off, man. And he dropped some great drop on this Joseph. I want to dig on it, man. I want to dig on it with you. Man. I like that. I'm gonna get a replay on these bowls, man. I like that, man. But yeah, get them in the drop chat. The password is 1234. We got a lot of changes coming to the website. Please be patient with us. We got our updates coming. This week, I'm gonna start updating again at 432thedrop.com regularly, my noggin. And I'm gonna promise you, hitting up the drop of the day. So I ain't forgot about you. We're gonna be coming in hot with the drop of the day. And it's all good at 432thedrop.com. Our vision, and love to my bro behind the scenes, man, making it happen for me, is to be able to do everything through our site, period. You know what I'm saying? To drop all our long, videos, you know what I'm saying? Just straight to the site, everything straight to the site. And come live, go live to the site, go live to the app. So look out for the changes, the upgrades, this year popping off, man. All right, yeah. We're talking about the priest, right? We're talking about the, Melchizedek, right? The Zadik, right? Often people call someone a Zadik, simply because he is an exceptionally good person. Then there are times they come across a spiritual superhero, Melchi, King, Zadik, right? Someone more like an angel or a dragon and then a human being. And they say, now that's a Zadik. Okay. Yet the most special thing about the Zadik is that he really is the most human of human beings. Zadik is a form of human or Hebrew verb which carries the meaning of doing what is correct. So we keeping the code, we on code. And just ways, like the judges, right? Weights that are collaborated correctly are called Mazni Zadek. The judge's urge, Zadek, you shall pursue, meaning that which was wrong should be righted. That which was stolen should be returned to its owner. The innocent should not suffer. And those who have caused harm should be corrected so that they will return to doing good. Zadek is making everything the way it should be. So too, the personality of the Zadek is calibrated to the manufacturer's original specifications so that everything about him is just as his creator meant it to be. And all he desires is what the creator desires. The Zadek is one who embodies the creator's prime, right? Remember the prime founder, Optimus? Mosok the founder, remember the primal ancestor? Okay. Conception of the human being, the creator's primal conception, right? Right. So he embodies the creator's prime conception. So that everything about him is just as the creator meant it should be. And all he desires is what the creator desires. So we're talking about the priest and king, right? Zadek, Melchi, right? Priest king is a Prester John. John means king or Wang. In the Mongol talk, Wang, Ong, John. Or like the Spanish, Latin say, Juan, right? Like Juan, Juan is just king. Juan, John, Wang, Wang, Wang. And then you got the Khan or the priest or the Zedek, who what? His desires what the Creator desires. What's the Creator desire? KTC, that means keep the code. For the children of Israel shall abide many days, without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice, without image. And afterwards shall the children of Israel return, seek the Lord their God, or the Creator, their Abba. When you seek HaWah, you are now seeking to be one with HaWah. You're seeking to walk side by side, you know what I'm saying? Which means that you're keeping the commandments, you're keeping the code that the Creator has laid out, the KTC. Once you're KTC, you search for ThaWaDa, because you went through the Creator first. That's your checkpoint before you can even get to your things, your priesthood that contain what? The sacrifice, or the prince, or the king, or the image. So Hosea 3 is clearly saying that once we are back in code, we'll have our image back. Once we seek HaWah and David, their king, and shall fear or respect or obey or come trembling, different translations. You know, I like to say respect, because once you respect, you're going to listen. Sometimes, you know, the Creator got to get his respect. Mama got to get her respect. You know what I'm saying? But you will respect, and then you will KTC. You'll start to seek. But they've already been seeking. In memory of those seafarers who seeked or searched for Prester John for 500 years, and you're just now waking up, because this is where we pick up at. We pick up right here. Afterward, after what? After you've gone many days without a king, without your queens. That's why we dig on the Tamar drop and the Sheba drop, and you see how it correlates and come together. How powerful our aquas and ox are, man, side by side. So, you know, we need each other. Case in point, simple and plain. But we can't have that. We can't have that unity, man, until afterward. We seek, we get KTC. We keep our code. For real, for real. Then David becomes what we are seeking. Now, they're just trying to beat us to the punch, right? They're trying to get the drop before we, afterward, return and get the drop. By the time they're seeking Prester John, we're falling off. They're just popping off. And where do they go to find them? British Museum. In the British Museum, this MS map showing connections between Marco Polo's Asia and the new lands, or America. Marco Polo's Asia contains Cathay. Cathay is Marco Polo's China, and this is Marco Polo's Asia, right? The connection between these new lands that contain what? Prester John. So when they went to Ethiopia, that's not over here unless this is Ethiopia, according to the same author. Ronald Sanders, you know, Ethiopia is a vague title for black people, dark-skinned people, wherever they are. Ethiopia of the Orient and Ethiopia of the West. You know what I'm saying? Either way, you have melanated Nagas. We'll cover a little bit of that again, man, but let's go. So they're searching. They're seeking for the what? Well, now your KTC. First you seek HaWah, then you have to seek what this image is really about. And we're not talking about an image that you worship. We're talking about your nobility, your image of noble, your image of being the head and not the tail. This is you. Nothing outside of you that you're pulling in. to the picture to worship. No, this is you. This is the noble image of the Negro. But you don't get that. You go many days without that. Then you wakey wakey KTC, ThaWaDa, and we. Wakey wakey KTC, ThaWaDa, and King Day. We. There. Khan. Then you come with respect in the latter days back to Hawaii. Last noble image. Where's your king? So the Portuguese who've been searching, right? 500 years. You gotta factor in the fountain of youth if you're looking for somebody for 500 years. You gotta factor in this title, these nobles, these presters, these khans, these Dawis, these Shebas, these Tamars, Managa, you know what I'm saying? These Caliphas. So the Portuguese continue to refer to this real life monarch, they say, in Ethiopia, Lebna Dangle, as Prester John. In spite of everything, it is unbelievable how many people always travel with the court for a distance of 3 or 4 leagues from each place at which they break camp. The people are so numerous and so close together they look like a procession of corpus domini in a great city. The 10th part of them may be well-dressed people, the 9th part common people, both men and women, young people and poor, some of them in skins and other in poor clothes, and all these common people carry with them their property, which all consist of pots for making wine and porringers for drinking. If they move short distances, these poor people carry with them their poor dwellings made and thatched as they had them. And if they go further, they carry wood, the wood that is some poles. Rich men bring very fine tents. I do not speak of the great lords and great gentlemen, because each of these moves a city or a good town of tents and loads of people on mules, a matter without numbering or reckoning. I do not know what to say of those on foot. We Portuguese often talked of these mules because in the winter the court does not move with less than 50,000 mules, and from upwards they might reach 100,000. 100,000 mules are most impressive, but not in the way of the same number of cavalrymen such as the legendary Prester John brought in his train. It was this mission that finally learned the whereabouts of Puro da Colvinhan, who had not been heard from since his parting from Rabbi Abraham at Ormuz. Nearly 30 years before, he was living in Ethiopia as a courtier to the king, a kind of Marco Polo of the south. But with one important difference, he was not permitted to leave. He told his whole story to Alvarez, how in 1493, all right, this is 1 year after they found you and me, right? 1 year after this whole Iberia more situation, right? He traveled by land until he reached the Prester John. Ain't no play. So when we're searching for Prester John, we know that there's many going under this title. We're trying to put our story together. The only way to do that is to read, right? The only way to do that is to connect and sever the dots. And when you find that real vibration, then you connect that into, more of a realistic timeline, factoring in the 3 major chronological time shifts, of course. For the man go. So he reached Prester John. It says how in 1493. Now we're under the impression that Genghis Khan, invaded 1202. That means there's still Nagas going under this title in 1493, including, Genghis in there. He was going under the King David title as well. And he came to the court and gave his letters to King Alexander, who was then reigning. And he said that he received them with much pleasure and joy, and said that he would send them to his country with much honor. About this time he died, and his brother Nahum reigned, who also received him with much favor. And when he was asked leave to go, he would not give it. And Nahum died, and his son David Lebna Dangle reigned, who now reigns. And he says he also asked for him him for leave, and he would not give it. All right, so these Presters said, look, man, I ain't gonna let you go because you just gonna tell everybody all our business. We can't let the op leave, man. Can't give up. You can't blow up our spot. So he wouldn't give it, saying that he had not come in this time, and his predecessors had given him lands and lordships to rule and enjoy, and that leave he would not give him. So he said, man, we gave you lots of lands, we gave you titles. No, you can't go. You can't go. And so he remained. Alvarez added his own observation, saying that Culvohan, quote, was given a wife. He was given women, riches, and land. But you can't blow up our spot, man. You can't give up our location. All right, with very great riches and possessions, he had sons by her, and we saw them in our time. When he saw that he wanted to leave, a passionate desire to return to his country came upon him. He went to ask leave of the Prester, and he went with him. And we urged it with a great insistence and begged it of him, yet no order for it was ever given. So far as is known, Culvohan ended his days in Ethiopia. He too was a living symbol of the demystification of the East, ending like the legend of Prester John in the Abyssinian dust. With that legend went, for the time being, all hope of a noble image of the Negro. So he ain't just talking about this Lebna in Ethiopia. We're saying, what? That the demystification ended like the legend of Prester John. We're talking about the entire legend. We're talking about everything you thought you remember. We're talking about the last noble image of the priest king. Just enjoying a nice little victory lap, man. We're over here making victory laps, man. We're gonna keep the victory lap going. I like checking back in for the victory lap. All right, my niggas. So with that legend, with the legend of our priest king, Prester John, right? Khan David went, for the time being, all hope of a noble image of you, Negro. You have no more image. HaWah done told you that you'll abide many days without a king, without a prince, without sacrifice, without an image. Oh boy, they were searching 500 years for the image. You can't let these Nagas have an image. If the Naga have an image, here comes the Naga King. You know what I'm saying? Here come the royals. Matter of fact, here come HaWah. And how does HaWah come? Smoke out of his nostrils, fire out of his mouth. But afterward, after our punishment, HaWah is redeeming the tribe, because the tribe is now KTC. They are seeking, they are meditating on the commandments, the law of the Creator. And we are searching for David, the Khan, the last noble image. Because all hope of the noble image of the Negro left. No one even thought about Prester John until we started digging on Prester John, right? So it wasn't even in your consciousness Unless someone else brought it up to you at some point in your journey, it was not in your consciousness. It was gone for a while, right? For a time. Many days without a God. Prince, sacrifice, image, F5, teraphim. Now you return and seek David. In the latter days, is it the latter days? Let's pop off. Back into the Mystery of the Grail PDF by Julius Evola. We got a piece of this talking about the stones. Love to the HaLach who gave us some great drop, to dig on the stones in one of our live chats. Sorry, I can't remember the name, but I appreciate you, HaLach, for bringing this up. And it got me thinking about this PDF again, and something I think came up along like years ago. We brought up this PDF before, but let's read a little bit more of it this time and see where it takes us. Let's just go for a nice joyride in Prester John, installment 69. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about this tree, man. Let's talk about this tree. And my wave surfers, I just want you to let your imagination run free. As we talk about this tree, we're going to get into some of the Dante Inferno drop on this. Let's just see where it takes us, man. Prester John, look, it takes us to all these beautiful, fantastic places. San Manyon River, Fountain of Youth, you know what I'm saying? Mystical dragons and rings of invisibility. It even takes us to, love to my HaLach. It even takes us to the flying carpet drop, right? I have it up early in my tabs to make sure I don't forget this time. I keep forgetting this link, so I'm going to get it this time. Let's go. Hey, man. Hey, man, get your rain boots, man. The drop is, fully on your head bone. Let's go, man. Pull up the links. All the links are in the drop chatter. Chatter. This is where you come to get the links. Talk to Red Eagle. You know what I'm saying? My bro Con Dragon. You know what I'm saying? Talk to my bro Dragon Child popping off, man. Talk to the fam up here making it happen, man. I see all y'all checking in to get the links. I see y'all checking in. Sam, Nick, what it do? Let's go, man. Let's go. This is where the links would be. Pop off. An old Italian romance. Remember, we got the romance is what? A hero, right? A nine. We talked about them heroes when we just brought up that Zadok drop. That a Zadok is a what? Spiritual superhero. Remember the Melchizedek, right? So keep this in mind. Could be a dragon. Could be a dragon. Could be a Preston. All right, so we got a piece of this last time about these 3 stones. Were sent by Prester to Frederick. At the same time, the emperor was asked what he thought was the best thing in the whole world. The emperor, the tale continues, accepts the stones and did not inquire about their thing. And for this question, he answered that the measure was the best thing in the world. Measure of what? From this, Prester John deduced that the emperor was wise in words but not in deeds because he did not inquire about the most excellent power of the stones. He thought that with the passing of time, these stones would have lost their value since the emperor did not know what their value was and proceeded to have them returned. This happened essentially through one of them endowed with the magic power of invisibility. and said to, quote, be worthier than your whole empire, according to another legend preserved by Oswald der Schreiber. Frederick II received from Prester John a fireproof garment of salamander. A lot of families said sound like that dragon skin. The water of perennial youth, right? That fountain drop. And a ring of 3 stones. Sound like that infinity stones, right? Of course, right? Which gave its carrier the power to breathe underwater, to be invulnerable, and to become invisible. And we need to get back on them, dragon, you know what I'm saying, fisher kings and all that stuff that had kingdoms underwater. Like, how could they breathe underwater? Magic. Prester John's stone was particularly mentioned in German writings of the 14th century, together with an allusion to the power that made one invisible. These legends are very significant, especially if we consider that the kingdom of Prester John is only one among the several medieval figurations of the supreme center. This center was supposed to be located in the mysterious and wonderful region of Central Asia, Mongolia, India. Which one? India Superior? We talking America, Managa? India Superior? Prester John? India Superior? Prester John? America, Managa? South America? North America? Does North America even exist? And who is Prester John? Let's go, man. Let's go, man. The latter name having a vague and various meaning when considering the attributes conferred on this kingdom. However, there are no doubts concerning its symbolic character. Prester John's gift to Emperor Frederick constituted a sort of mandate of a superior character, which was offered to the German representative of the Holy Roman Empire, that he might establish a real contact with the power of the phoenix, to remain unscathed and renew itself in the fire. That sound like the dragon drop as well. So whether they talk salamander or phoenix, we talking dracon. Invisibility is a potent symbol of the power to contact the invisible and super sensible dimension, and to be able to be transferred to it. The power of breathing underwater corresponds to the ability of not sinking or drowning, and of the walking on water. Remember, man, King David walk on water. Get that last drop. This reminds us of the Kalki Avatar. It sounds like Avatar, right? So Kalki Avatar crossed the sea, walked on water. Wasn't just this JC New Testament character. When you had the Kalki Avatar already crossing the sea, walking on water. Now check it out. Of author's sword held above the water and so on, it signifies the ability to participate in the principle that is superior to the current of the world and to the stream of becoming. All right. Author's sword, Prester John, dragons. We're gonna touch on author back in that Prester John legend and its sources, man. Love the Aqua Top battle for a Yacht Pop PDF. Let's go, man. Because author is David, is Prester. And this sword is the same staff that Moses is carrying and Joshua. And this is the sword, this is the staff, this is the scepter. The same scepter that Moshe had to pluck out the garden of Well in the book of Joshua, right? And when that staff hits the water, the waters, separate, right? So that you can now cross the water, right? Just like Moshe, except he ain't walking on water. He's separating the water, the Jordan. He's separating the water so he can take the tribe on dry land. I mean, which is the biggest miracle to you? Controlling, having so much control over the ocean, over these, you know what I'm saying, large oceans of water, you know what I'm saying, that you can divide them and separate them into walls of waters, and that you could walk on dry land, or that you could walk on water. You know what I mean? I'm going to go with controlling the water to separate the water, my naga, that the whole tribe can walk on dry land. With a little bit of magic, you can walk on water, but with a lot of magic, you can separate the Jordan. You dig? Divide the water from the water. Now that takes a sword or a staff. Having said that, the Italian legend seems to suggest that Frederick was somewhat inadequate to receive this mandate. Frederick's limitation is a virtue of the chivalry and mere temporal government. The quote measure is the best thing in the world. He does not inquire about the symbols of the power offered to him by Prester John. Because of this unawareness of the highest mandate, his function, with the passing of time, was destined to decay, and thus his mandate was revoked by Prester John. This is a new version of the formula, quote, he lives and yet does not live, referring to the emperor whose life is only apparent, or to the lethargic king. This time, the version is intimately associated with a fundamental theme in the Grail cycle. Speaking of cycles, man, how's our cycle doing? How's our victory lap? Okay. Halal HaWah. Let's make sure our cycle continues to be complete, my naga. Like I said, we're going to get into this Prester John, the legend, and its sources, compiled by Keegan Brewer, one of our favorites we get for the Prester Hour at 432 The Drop Radio. And yeah, it's about a hero. It's about a romance. It's about a knight. It's about a mysterious oriental. They only put one picture of this man up, and here we go. This is their mysterious oriental. Prachian. Ethiopia, which one? So if this so-called black man face is their oriental, I think you need to get your mind right. The mysterious oriental leader, Prester John, looks a lot like you. And what are you doing as the label of the four corners, as the label of this Grand Canyon situation, or, Egypt situation, or whatever you want to put there, whatever's coming out, whatever it is? Why are you there, Prester John? Why are you there in Judah? Why did the British Museum put you there in 1530? And we're just talking about after 1492 and after 1493. Managa, 1530. Hey, this is a body bag for the illusion. India Superior is right here. So if this is what the British are saying is happening in 1530, then 1492, they have to know they're coming to India Superior. I mean, it's right there in their face palm. They got to know they're coming to India Superior. How can Columbus sail the ocean blue in 1492 and them not know that they're coming for India Superior, for the mysterious oriental Naga? Prester John. Preciani. Old red. Old red. Old red ruddy, huh? You know the red is the copper. The red is the copper. Let's go. So this time, the version is intimately associated with the fundamental theme in the Grail cycle. Think about this Grail. We're going to talk about it. Namely, with the fault of not asking a question that would have a restoring power. So everything with Prester has to do with restoration. Everything with a dragon has to do with restoration. You see a dragonfly, it's about restoration, change. Dragonfly's popping off wings. He ain't had wings the whole time. He's just popping off. Restoring power. I would like to add some details to the image of Prester John. Let's go. The Practoctus Pope Chimeris referred to him as the King of Kings. Rex Regum. Rex Negus, Rex Naga, head Naga in town, Khan of Khans, my Naga. This is where Genghis Khan stole the title from the Prester of the Khan. This is the Khan of Khans. You couldn't be Khan unless you had India Superior Khan. You couldn't be Khan unless you was holding this down, this vortex, my Naga. Let's go. The Grand Khan, the Grand Kanyan, the Grand Kanjan, the Grand Conjunction. He combines spiritual authority with regal power and could say himself, John Presbyter Divat Gratia Dominis Dominientium. Prester John, by divine grace, Lord of all lords that exist under the sky. From the east all the way to the earthly paradise, i.e. the far west. Body bag for the illusion. Where's the earthly paradise, man? And why don't y'all Negroes understand that they just found you in the earthly paradise? And that if the earthly paradise is the far west and whatever they're calling their east, not the real orient, not the real oriental, because we already know the real oriental. Yeah, man. The story of the mysterious oriental. Prester John. But their orient, i.e. far west, is referring to earthly paradise. Their far west is the Orient, Managa, or Ethiopia, Abyssinia. I'll be seeing you. Remember that when they keep bringing up this Abyssinia, just going back into a beautiful memory lane right here when you put in Abyssinia and etymologies. It's taking you to the old name for Ethiopia because Ethiopia is a Greek term. Eptios, Ethiopia. Before the Greeks called it Ethiopia, since some of these Negroes are very attached to these colonized terms, right? Like Africa and Ethiopia, Ethiopia is a Greek term, but 1630s, before it was called Ethiopia, it was Abyssinia, which came from what? From modern Latin Abyssinia, Arabic Habasa, the name for the region, Abasa. That's Arabic, said to be from the Amharic Abish, or mixed, or mixture. And we're just talking about a prester that is leading a mixed multitude like a Moshe. He's not just leading, the tribe of Levi or the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? It's a mixed multitude. You got the Kenites or the Midianites, all that stuff. So Moses has a mixed multitude, Abyssinia means mixed. It ain't talking about black and white, my nigga. It's just talking about the mixed multitude in reference to the different races living there or the different tribes, my nigga, right? So, Abyssinia, got it. Got it. Far West, Oriental, right? Yet essentially, Prester John is only a title and a name, which designates not a given individual, but rather a function. Thus, in Wolfram von Eschenbach and into Torah, we find Prester John as a title. The Grail, as we will see, indicates from time to time the person who must become Prester John. The Grail is Prester John. Now, the person who must become Prester John, hey, there's been times that even our queens have had that title, my nigga. And there's been times that this title refers to a nation in itself, a nation who is the collective. As we are popping off today, I feel like we have become this function together. Not one man, not one person, together. You know, I'm not just saying drop nation. I'm just saying us Nagas as we're popping off, right? We are becoming a function that is KTC, a function that is Zedek, right? Khan, Zedek, or, you know, someone who desires what his creator desires or her creator desires, right? So to desire that and to, you know, bring that water, you know what I'm saying, to empty our cups to KTC, we become this Zadok, we become this priesthood, you know, not by anybody's paperwork or anybody's validation, but because we are in a particular function. Y'all remember this link, this Dragon Society PDF? I just dropped it in the drop chatter. Let's get this piece here. Because, you know, who hijacked this priesthood, right? In the New Testament, it became JC. But he's of the order of the Melchizedek, right? Zedek, right? Zedek, right? Let's get it bigger. Zedek, huh? Red Eagle, we popping off, man. Khan, we popping off. The Zedek is the creator's primal conception of a human being. Top notch. Could be an angel. Yeah. Dragons do come in human form sometimes. What's a Zedek? A superhero. The real super knockers, right? Not that JC business, man. It's the real super knockers, right? Not this JC business, right? Who has to hijack the Melchi and the Zedek. Remember, Melchi, we're talking king. Zedek, we're talking priest. Let's go. Let's pick it up from here, man. See what we got. Of Melchizedek's significance, Rene Guinan writes, Melchizedek, or more precisely Melchizedek, Zedek, remember, A Zedek? A real Zedek? The personality of a real Zedek is collaborated in what they call the manufacturer's original specifications, the creator's original specification, the function, right? So that everything about him is just as his creator meant it should be. And all he or she desires is what his or her creator desires. That's a real Zedek, man. Melchizedek. So every time we say Prester John, stop thinking of just some man or some person that we're, nah, man. It's like saying King David is just a man or person. This same David that you're searching for forever. The same David you're searching for 500 years. The same David, Ezekiel 37, one shepherd will have one shepherd, right? So the same David that's Prince forever. Ezekiel 34, the same David that's being raised up again. Talking Jeremiah 30, my nine. It's more to this David. Has to be, right? It's more to this Prester. It has to be. It's more to this Zedek. It has to be. If the Creator hears the cry, in my distress I called upon HaWah, and HaWah does what? He heard my voice. There's much more to this Zedek. You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying, eventually things got hijacked, right? And you got this new test. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, we were all brought up, brainwashed into this New Testament. You know, I was a full-blown Christian from the age of 15 to 17. At 17, I said, man, this shit don't make no sense. But from 15 to 17, man, I was as Christian as a Christian could be. I'm sorry, I'm still in my Tanakh. Let's switch over, man, to the KJV. I just want to make a simple point. Matthew 28:18. And Jesus, because there ain't no J. So cut the shit. Ain't no J. All right. Jesus came and spoke unto them. All right. Zeus came and said, just call him Zeus. Call him Zeus. All right. Zeus came and said, all power is now given to me under heaven and earth. Ain't no prophet talk like this. Moshe never said all power been given to him. David never said all power been given to him. Joshua never said all power been given to him. Ezekiel never said all power been given to him. No one ever said all power been given to him. And yet many of these people have been called the son of HaWah, the son of God, right? My firstborn, Israel as a nation is called the firstborn. So stop with the son stuff, because we've been getting sunned by HaWah. All power has been given to me, says Zeus. How did he get all power? After reading all this about the drop on Prester John and how, Hosea 3 and 5 search for HaWah and David does not say search for HaWah and Zeus. But now Zeus got all the power? This is hijack city. Go you therefore, teach all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Where's mama? You got the Father. Who's the Son? Oh, Zeus. Who's the Holy Ghost? That's a mystery. But you might want to call her wisdom. So the son got hijacked. Mama gets hijacked. This ain't the same father no more. Somebody took all power in heaven and earth. How did you get all power, JC? Because last time that I checked, just last time that I checked, Prester is the function. Last time that I checked, Prester is the king of king, Khan of khans. Prester is the image. He's the Rex Regum. My naga, this is who's been slaying giants. My naga, we talking ThaWaDa, right? This is who's been holding back Gog and Magog and any hijack. This is who combines spiritual authority with regal power. Spiritual authority with regal power. How the hell did all power now be given to the hijack? All power given unto me. All power, says Zeus. Oh, Zeusy boy. He wants all power. Nah, Zeus, you can't have all power in heaven and earth, man. Prester already got the spiritual authority and the regal power. That's why you're the son of David, Jesus. That's why you're the son of David, right? But who's David? Who's David anyway? Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah, man. I'm having too much fun. Man. I'm going crazy in a good way. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved by who? Same person that saved David. Smoke out of his nostrils, fire out of his mouth. Verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, says HaWah, I will break his yoke. Who broke your yoke? Jesus? Nah. HaWah. HaWah breaks your yoke. Who has all power? HaWah. Who does HaWah give power to? Let's go. Because you can't just claim all power been given to you. HaWah has to give you power. All power comes from HaWah. That I will break his yoke from off his neck, will burst his bonds. Strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve HaWah, their power, and David the Khan. Oh, man. That victory lap is too good. We got to keep it going. It's getting too good to a naga. So we just got in Hosea 3, seek HaWah and David. Now we got Jeremiah 30 to do what? Seek HaWah and David. The Christians don't have one script saying to seek the Creator and Jesus. You have at least two so far telling you directly to seek the Creator and David at the end of days in Hosea 3. This one says, seek the Creator and David, whom I will raise up unto them. Can you imagine if this said Jesus? Can you imagine this would be on every bumper sticker? Jeremiah 30, Hosea 3, Jeremiah 30, Hosea 3, Jeremiah 30, Hosea 3. Oh, seek God and Jesus. God and Jesus. No. God and David, right? HaWah and ThaWaDa. In the latter days, right? Whom I will raise up. Oh, Jesus got raised up. David is getting raised up. in the latter days. Therefore fear not, my servant Jacob, says HaWah. HaWah is telling you don't trip, because David is coming back. I will raise him up. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save you. Who? I will save thee. Jesus coming, gonna save us? No. The Creator is saying, I will do it. How? I will raise up David. Jesus? No. All power has been given to me. No. It's been given to David already back then. It's been given to David later, whom I will raise up. I can't make this up, my nigga. I can't make this stuff up, right? Because if it's saying that in Jeremiah 30, and we go over here to Hosea 3, no, we could do the script all day. This is what we do. You know, all this other stuff, in case you got it twisted, they just be all these books. They just be opening all these random. No, we can stay right here, my nigga, and we can nail your ass to the coffin right in the script, because this is our strong point here in Drop Nation. But y'all just seem to forget sometime where it all started at. We've earned our right to look at all this other subject matter and get any other validation outside of the so-called book, because we know that those that's giving us these translations are crooks, and we got to put our story together. But one thing's for certain and one thing's for sure. David will be raised up in Jeremiah 30, Hosea 3, seek the Creator. When Israel returns, you seek HaWah, and here we go again, God and David. The Creator and ThaWaDa, whom I will raise up, in the latter days. Put it all together. This is a real Melchizedek. This is the frequency. Since it's being raised up later, you have to understand this is the frequency that was already there back with Abraham, the original Melchizedek. By the time David gets anointed, his Ruach is already connected with the function. He ain't coming from nowhere. That's why I love the Mac. I don't believe all that is inside of him. It doesn't seem to add up based on the script study we did last time in Prester John, installment 68, when he talks about his innocence. Why did they have to throw smut on ThaWaDa? Because he's right here in your face in Hosea 3. That you're going to seek the Creator and David in the latter days. By the time you get to Jeremiah 30, HaWah and David, again, you're serving, not just seeking, you're serving HaWah and you're serving David, because he's being raised up as a what? A shepherd. Ezekiel 34. This is too easy. It's a victory lap. Anaga, are you enjoying the victory lap? Alkaline. You enjoying the victory lap? Love the temple sounds because, HaWah hears David right out of his temple, right? Psalms 18. So you have Psalms 18. HaWah hears David. Comes down with smoke out of his nose, fire out of his mouth. Why? You go back to Hosea 3. Seek HaWah and David, because the children of Israel return in the latter days. You go to Jeremiah 3. Serve HaWah and David, who I will raise up. You go to Ezekiel, let's go to 34 first. How much validation just in the Tanakh do we need? We're not taking one script and going crazy, crack, my nigga. We cross-referencing and putting our story together in real time, because you don't get this with no other person but David. HaWah is not the author of confusion. It is crystal clear when we read this. It is crystal clear we're talking latter days. It is crystal clear we're talking prophecy. Searching for David is not history. It is prophecy. It is the future. Yeah. Yeah. Verse 20. Ezekiel 34. Therefore says HaWah unto them, behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean sheep, because you have thrust with side and with shoulder, and pushed all the disease with your horns, till you have scattered them abroad. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I, HaWah, will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, my servant David. Here we go again. Managa, do you see clearly? You don't go through David to get to HaWah. Just like you ain't supposed to go through Jesus to get to HaWah. You go through nothing to get to HaWah. You go directly to HaWah. You KTC. You keep his code. You keep mama's law. You got wisdom. Solomon prays for wisdom to fortify his kingdom. He prays for our Abba to release, to give him the trust to have the presence of Amma. Amma, who was already there since the beginning, Proverbs 2, right? Bereshith, with wisdom. Genesis, Bereshith, with wisdom, always there. But the Christian pushed her aside. And we were giving Mama her seat back, her breath. We're acknowledging her breath. You know what I'm saying? We're honoring the breath that our Abba allows us to partake in with Amma. And the breath that we get from Amma, man, we give it right back to Abba by being firm, fixed, and immovable in his code and the law. That which shapes us, forms us, and molds us is the frequency, is the code. This is the 9 code. This is the commandments of HaWah. This frequency you hear right here is the frequency of you when you are in code. Your frequency, my nigga, in code. You only give a naga those rules. Don't kill, don't steal, don't put no power for your power, so that they frequency don't switch up, man. Let's go. We're just getting a couple things like it's the first time. Because for somebody, Prester John 69 is their intro video into surfing the wave. This is their first time watching any drop or being a part or listening to any drop. So we want to make sure they got it while we connect all of our Tamars and Uris and do all that advanced stuff. You know what I'm saying? You need to know that there's only one shepherd. One shepherd over them. and I will set it up. This is Ezekiel. This is a prophet. So you got latter days, Hosea 3, prophet. You got Jeremiah, I will raise up David, prophet. You got David saying straight up that HaWah hears me and comes down with smoke out of his nose, fire out of his mouth. You got Ezekiel saying that HaWah is going to set up only one shepherd. And that shepherd is who? My servant David. He shall feed them. He shall be their shepherd. And I, HaWah, will be their power. So all powerful Jesus. Matthew 28. Nah, you can't be our power. HaWah is our power. They tried to give us a new God in the New Testament. But what New Testament? A New Testament comes with a new covenant. And we still have to be renewed. We ain't got no new covenant, my naga, until Israel comes back together again. Gathered from the four corners. Popping off. And who will be the shepherd once this happens, man? One shepherd. My servant David. My servant David. My bond. Oh, some adulterous murderer? I think not. This is HaWah's servant David. Remember, David loved the Mac, didn't even want to kill Saul. He didn't even want to kill Saul. That's the kind of heartbone David got. So, premeditated adulterous murder just don't fit the description, man. We know he got bodies. He slays giants. He got Goliath. We know he's king of Cush for 40 years on the battlefield. He got bodies. But is he guilty of murder? Or is he innocent? David shall feed them. He being fed by a murderer or by an innocent shepherd. He shall be their shepherd. And I, HaWah, will be their power. This is a deal. This is a contract. You just got it in Hosea 3, Jeremiah. You're getting it here again, that there's a contract that HaWah is allowing David to rock steady as shepherd, one shepherd. Where does your Jesus, Yahweh Shai, Yeshua, HaMashiach? Who made that nigga HaMashiach when HaWah clearly says one shepherd over them shall feed them, not the author of confusion? This is HaWah. And I, HaWah, will be their power. That's clear. And my servant David, a prince among them. I, HaWah, have spoken it. I will make with them a covenant of peace. This is our new covenant. And then you can start your New Testament. But you need your covenant of peace. You ain't got it yet. As a tribe, as one tribe, we have not gotten a covenant of peace. Ezekiel 37. Then we get back into the goods. From the goods to the goods. Valley of dry bones, right? You already know what it is. Who's the bones popping off? Who's coming back to life? Son of man, can these bones live? Oh, HaWah, you knowest. Again, he said, prophesy unto these bones, say to them, oh, you dry bones, hear the word of HaWah. Prophesy, because Ezekiel is a prophet. And what else is he prophesying? Let's go. One king, one nation. Yeah. So Ezekiel has to see clearly that these two kingdoms will be divided no more. They both come together as one stick, right? Verse 24, and David, my servant, shall be king over them. Who is Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahamashiach? He sure ain't the king. Because you went a long time without a king. He sure ain't the future shepherd. So who is he? Oh, he's the son. I thought you were that. I thought you were the son. I thought you were the son of HaWah, Israel. No, but this is a special son. And he's also the Ruach. Christ is the Ruach. Christ was there from the beginning. Christ was there. He ain't the Melchizedek. He ain't the Zedek. Because all that the Creator wants ain't what he wants. He wants all power, right? That ain't what the Creator wants. The Creator already gave the power to the shepherd. Because HaWah is our only power. And any power that David got, any water he got, is just leading you right back to HaWah. There ain't no separation between HaWah and the function of David. It's the same function. Because every Zadok and all he desires is what the Creator desires. You think David would be shepherd forever, prince forever, if he desired something different than HaWah? David, my servant, shall be king or Khan over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, observe my statute. They will KTC. Yeah, they going to do it. They going to keep the code. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob. So once you observe, my naga, you collapse the wave pattern on paradise. We're talking about the earthly paradise, the far west, they say, or the orient. As soon as you KTC, you get your land back, my naga. Land comes directly with KTC. We've already started getting it. You know what I'm saying? Just because we KTC, now we looking up. Okay, our tribe is starting to pop off with some land, right? Wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children's children forever. My son, my servant David, shall be their Khan forever. Their prince, their king. I mean, you went a long time without a prince, without a king, without a shepherd. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace. This ain't happened yet. You know why? Because David hasn't been your prince forever yet. But once David is your Khan forever, there will be a new covenant. Remember, the law's written on your heart bone now, right? The KTC, the code is written on your heart bone, and it shall be everlasting, forever. With who? Dawid as Khan forever. And I will place them and multiply them and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. My tabernacle should also be with them. Yeah, I will be their power. I am their creator. I am their breath of security. And they shall be my people, my Nagas. Amos 3, HaWah has only known you. And the heathen shall know I am HaWah, and I, HaWah, do sanctify Israel. We back in the goods, right? We back in Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15. We the head, not the tail now, right? With my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forever. HaWah's chilling with us. We good. We're back in the goods. We are sanctified. And it didn't take JC. This is a future prophecy. That's why he said to Ezekiel, prophesy upon these bones. And Ezekiel prophesies about one shepherd, one prince forever. It gets no clearer than this. When we take our victory lap, my noggin, we're going to keep taking, we're going to keep these laps coming because it's just feeling too good. Yeah, man. Managi. Most High has only known you. Of all the families of the entire earth plane, you, Managi, that they forgot about. You, Managi, that they keep overlooking. You, Managi, that they want to say is a black African American. What's the etymology of black? And if an African don't call themselves African, what tribe are they from? And what tribe are you? And what family are you? Because you only have I known of all families of the earth. This is a witnessing popping off. Hear this word that HaWah has spoken against you, O children of Israel. Oh, he's about to put it down. Why? Because this is Pops against the whole family which I brought up out the land of Egypt or bondage. Listen, why am I so wroth? Because you only have I known. They can't claim to know me because you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity. Because I gave you the code. I told you to KTC because you only have I known of all the families, of all the tribes. Yashra, Israel, you only have I known. He combined spiritual authority with regal power. All power can give it to me. Nah, not today, Zeus. In your New Testament, we don't have a new covenant yet. Not until the Khan is Khan forever. What Khan? The one with spiritual authority and regal power forever. That's why they've been searching for him. And that's why we search for KTC, keep the code, HaWah, and David. You KTC, you seeking HaWah. Then that gives you that opens up the lane, the clarity for you to search for something deeper in terms of, what you thought you thought. You search for that water. You search for the grail, the function. Christianity has inverted everything. They make you go through a hijack, JC, to get to the Lord, right? The Creator. But in reality, you have to search for the Creator first. And then through the Creator, you'll be granted the keys to even search for the function and get in tune with the water and the fountain and your land and all your things. I said your land and all your things. I'm just talking India Superior. Prester John, Emperor of the Three Indias, Rex Regnum, right? Rex Negus, Rex, the Khan of Khans. Is it all adding up? So we're just, searching for so-called this historical timeline, you know what I'm saying? And once we start rocking it, which we are, we can now have fun and genie, right? Now we could pop off and say, oh, okay. So this is David Soslan, called the Shah of Shirvan. Same time period. We have this, who they call Mongol Chancellor Suleiman, right? Same thing, same person. Let's go. Yeah, man. David Soslan, King Consort of Georgia. Same person, married to Tamar, whose father is Jadaron, King of the Islands. Same Jadaron. Jadara. Jadara. So whether you call them the Atans, the Allens, same people, man. Georgians, or you just call them Prester John. Or Roger here, Roger Cho. Let's go. Far west, far east, or far west. Yet essentially Prester John is only a title and name. Is it only a title and only a name? Thus, Wolfram von Eschenbach, and in the tutorial, we find Prester John as a title. So tutorial is another romance. Remember, the Templar done told us what a romance is. So, we got to keep checking up. A romance, originally, we're just talking about adventures of a knight or a hero. It became love stuff later, but we're just talking about a knight or a hero. So even when they talk roman, think about romance. And if the romance is originally about a knight or a hero in the 1300s, circa 1300, then the roman is originally about a knight or a hero. Specifically, a pomegranate knot, a reman. Because roman is reman in Hebrew, means pomegranate, pomegranata, connected with the promised land. And this is where they found Prester John. I mean, what, if they just, look, this map is from what? 1530. Back to this monument right quick. So in 1530, they're still looking, right? But since they got over here, suddenly the search ceases. No more search. They didn't find him in Africa, Ethiopia. They couldn't find him nowhere in Asia, over there. But once they got over here, evidence of the British Museum. Once the British Museum knew what's up, suddenly the search discontinued. Because they knew, of course they knew they found you in 1645, right? It was in America by then, huh? And they know Prester John is here. And they know the Fountain of Youth is here. Let's go. We got our water. Now, tutorial, again, is a romance. And this is why, I was right on time. And, Prester 70, 71, 72. We're going to go into this romances to see what kind of drop we can get. And again, this is high-level academia, man, that we're digging on with this Prester John, all right? This is no play. No play. What did they say? And Prester John, the legend and his sources, again, love the Aqua Tide for taking the time to make a beautiful PDF for us. Oh, they're looking everywhere for the priest king. William of Newburgh was a proper historian. He wrote his history of the English people at the close of the 12th century, following the footsteps of his great predecessor, the Venerable Bede. William greatly admired Bede, whose wisdom had an integrity it is sacrilegious to doubt. The man was to be respected for his historicity and his balanced representations of the truth of the British past. But there was another relatively new school of British history headed by writers like Geoffrey of Monmouth, which created a false genealogy through the line of King Arthur. So all this King Arthur talk was only created to create a false genealogy to take you out of the real genealogy of the real kings, the real Presters, the real Davids. So you went off on this imaginary Camelot, King Arthur, when Camelot is just Kalalus. Where's Kalalus? Exactly where Prester John is located by the British Museum. I can't make this stuff up. Kalalus, we're talking about North America, you know what I'm saying? Four corners. So they created the King Arthur story, fiction, specifically for a false genealogy, man. Hey, and that's on Joffrey for that, right? These stories, these histories were to be abhorred for their obvious falsehood. According to William, it is a historian's duty, William said, to prevent the spread of such fallacious nonsense being propagated by the likes of Joffrey. A man with uncontrolled passion for lying, Joffrey's methodology was also suspect, for in writing his history, all he was doing was taking up an infantile stories of British folklore, adding them considerably from his own imagination, cloaking them with the honorable title of history by embellishing them in the Latin tongue. And at the end of his lengthy refutation of Joffrey and his new school of Arthurian history, quote unquote, William poses the following question. Listen up. Is he dreaming of another world containing infinite kingdoms, in which those things which he recounted earlier actually happen? Well, that would mean he's biting off of something real, right? This is a question that must be asked of the Prester John legend. That Joffrey is getting his new school of Arthurian so-called history from the Prester John legend. Old Prester John, a priest king who ruled over a marvelous oriental empire, held a firm grip on the Middle Ages, just like the legend of King Arthur. Yeah. And, I'm going to leave this. Actually, it's on the site. So if you search for Prester John Legend and the sources at 432, the drop by Aqua Top Battle. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get this. And just take your time. Take your time. Because you're going to talk, a little further about this fantastical representation of Prester John's kingdom. And, they got the whole full letter up in here that's going to break down the dragons at the weddings, my nigga. Yeah, man. Continuation of vast tradition of scholarly representation of the Orient, so much so that in many ways it was simply a new medium for old ideas. The marvels of India. Which one? Which one? Yeah, my niggas. So as you can see, this is high level academia we're digging on. This ain't no play. This is what they have in their, high level universities. One of the rivers of paradise flowing through the city's center, depositing gold and gemstones. We were talking about the stones, right? By which the people were made extremely rich. Yeah. So today they call it a pope. Originally it's a Prester. And, everything is being stolen from the OG. And I haven't read this intro in a while, man. And, I definitely want to comb through it, later on down the line, just brick by brick on this thing as well. Get back into this Otto of Friesling and Bishop Hugh and all this Pope Eugenius drop, you know what I'm saying? Definitely want to get into the yellow dashis and the Kara Katai. Kara means black or melanated. Katai is Cathay. And where's Cathay? Cathay, Cathay, right there, by Prester John and India Superior. So where's the car, like South Carolinas, my night? It's all happening. Yeah. Oh man, some good dropping here. Maybe we'll get back to it for the dismount. I want to get a little bit more with this tutorial. Back to the title, back to the Grail. Now that we can see we're searching for, you know what I'm saying, we're searching for this frequency that HaWah is telling us time and time again that we will search for when we return, right? After we KTC. So the Grail indicates from time to time the person who must become Prester John. That's their opinion, right? Okay. So if you're searching for the Grail, it's whoever is carrying the function at that moment, right? So moreover, in the legend, Prester John, and according to the script, with the one shepherd, will continue to carry that function. So it doesn't have to be passed from person to person forever. David will be raised up again, right? Jeremiah 30. I can't make this up. We read it together. In context. Moreover, the legend Prester John designate one who keeps in check the people of Gog and Magog, who exercise a visible and invisible dominion. Figuratively, dominion over both natural and invisible being. So where does JC, you already got someone who has dominion over natural and invisible beings. You got magic rings like King Solomon, able to control all these lower vibrations, have them all in check, right? And who defends the access of his kingdom with lions and giants, quote unquote, because what are we really talking about? Dracons. In this kingdom is also found the fountain of youth. Hey, I did a black man discover the fountain of youth, right? This region is often confused with the seat of the three magi, namely with the city of Suva, who was built on orders of the magi themselves on the Mount of Victory. Yeah, man. Yeah. So moreover, we find again the polar symbolism of the revolving castle and the image of the heavens and that of the place where there are stones of light and stones that restore sight to the blind and cause people to become invisible. More particularly, Prester John owns a stone that has the power to resuscitate the phoenix, or in other versions, the eagle, or the Jacan. They don't want to say it, right? This symbolism does not go unnoticed since the eagle has always represented, and particularly at, I want to get this fine print too, going quickly. At time of the legends, the empirical function, which in the eternal aspect of the connection in ancient Rome to the symbol of the phoenix, according to some, the Persian Xerxes, Alexander the Great, the Roman emperors, and finally Ogier of Denmark and Guarniers all visited the kingdom of Prester John. This is but a legendary figuration of the obscure sensation of contacts that the great historical dominators and the legendary heroes of the past are believed to have had with the supreme center, the place in which is found the stone that has the power of resurrecting the ego. Managa, is this some drop? Where is the supreme center? That's why you must have your orientation, and that's why we do flat drops, one-on-ones, and keep it kicking. We're going to keep that going every Wednesday at 432thedrop.com. Download the app. We'll be back on our flat drop 101. We'll definitely be back on YouTube with the flat drop. because we need to know where's the supreme center. I mean, that's right there at the heart of things. Yeah, that's right there at the heart of things, because what's at the center? According to the legend, Alexander, as the crowning accomplishment of his conquest after heading towards India, which one, my naga? On the path towards once traveled by Heracles and Dionysus, asked the deity the supreme pledge of victory. He reached not only the fountain of youth, but also the two trees, symbolizing the masculine and feminine principles. All right. Of the sun and the moon, which announce him, his destiny, and his imperium. In the legends of this cycle, we find several mentions of the tree of the center, of the solar tree, of the tree that confers victory and the empire, and the tree of Seth. Let's go. So we're talking about a tree at the center. Right? I mean, that reminds us a lot about, that type of, what I'm saying, Mount Meru type of thing, right? Mount Meru center tree. Right. And, different people got, their different suggestions about this golden mountain. It's the center of the universe. Just go dig on Mount Meru, cosmic mountain, center universe, all this center stuff, right? That goes back into this Parvat, Indian, Hindu flow as well, Hindu cosmologies, all that stuff, right? So, just to give you an image, voila. Okay, let's switch it up with this snowball. Yeah, man, because it's getting nice and frosty up in here, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we flying dragons to all climates, man. We got to bring that frequency out. All right. So, you got this magic tree, in the center. You got different depictions. You can see these interesting little images here. Any cosmologies, back in the day is always going to have this center tree situation. We kind of have our own theory, dealing with orientation, and some of it is being backed up by the treasures of Utah, some of this, orientation talk they're having over there as well, about this magic tree of life, flowing rivers and all this stuff, right? This mountain that was once a tree cut down. I can't help it. When I think tree of life, I think about which tree, my nagas already know, which tree is the source of the Orinoco, which tree is the source of the Amazon. Oh, yeah. Mount Roraima. Now, we've gotten plenty of recon, that Peru, right? Cusco is also called the navel of the world, and there's a lot of indigenous flow to that effect that is the center, that when you start talking this Peru, this whole, Venezuela flow, my naga, some would call this the center. I'm just saying. And this is a tree that definitely appears to have been cut down. And out of this tree is flowing the water. Right? That's why they had to do a whole movie on it with the Disney movie Up, with the water flowing, peeking out the clouds, my naga. Look at that tree stump. All right. I'm not going to get too crazy, but flowing water. So this is the source of the Amazon, the source of the Orinoco. You know what I'm saying? They call it the, dragon, the dragon tree because of all the, or the devil tree of El Dorado, right? Right. The dragon tree. It says a whole nother world. Source of the Amazon. You're talking about as ancient as it gets, man. So surfing that wave, surfing this wave, what is supposed to be located? I don't want to give too much away, but hijacks might be watching. But if this is the tree of life, or let's say a tree at the center, you know what I'm saying? They're calling it tree of Seth. Okay. Let's keep reading. On the basis of the vague and mysterious tales of the many travelers during the Middle Ages, the image of the faraway, magnificent empire of the great Khan, Emperor of the Tartars, contributed to the revival of the image of the king of the world, right? Because, again, he's the king of the world. We're talking about the Prester? Let's get the fine print. The dignity of the sacred king is often accompanied by biblical reminiscences, by presenting Prester John as the son or nephew of King David. Well, here, Prester John has a son, King David. So is he the son or nephew of the King David, or is he the father of a King David? Or who's Raja Haraj's daddy? Oh, they won't tell us here. So you know what we got to do? We got to go back to Prester John's bond. We got to go back to David Soslan, right? And skip over here in genealogy and dig on David Soslan. Right. And then go to his daddy when you get back to Jadaron. All the navigating we got to do just to get the drop for my Nagas. So this Jadaron, again, his daddy is also, right, Prester John, Jadaron. Now we need to know who Jadaron's daddy is so that, maybe that's who we're talking about here when we talk about, by presenting Prester John as the son or nephew of King David. Maybe he's the son of another David, right? Maybe Prester John's father is also a David, because we saw how these David titles, bruh. Jadaron, and this Jadaron, it does give us his daddy. So now we say, got him. So Prester John, Jadaron's daddy, is Atan of the islands, king of the islands. He's the son of David Braga. And so he's the son of another David, right? Here we go. So Prester John's granddaddy is a David. And with that, line up a little bit more. Prester John as the son or nephew of King David. Well, we see that there's a David who is the grandpops of the Prester John that we've been digging on in the timeline. Very interesting thing to note. We got to dig on this when we dig back on this Rusadan and Tamar business, is that Princess Rusadan listed here, at least, take it all with a grain Grain of salt. Could be nothing, could be something, could be mistake. I don't know. But it says that this David, who would be the granddad of Jadaron Prester John, is the husband of Princess Rusadan. I said, is this the same Princess Rusadan who's supposed to be the wife of David Soslan? Or the wife of Jadaron? Right. I'm thinking about Queen Tamar as the wife of David Soslan. She is the wife of Jadaron and David Bragantoon. And I said, wait a minute. I'm trying to make this make sense. So Prester John, his granddad and grandma is Rusadan. But then Rusadan is also the wife of David Soslan? Or excuse me, Jadaron. So again, I'm going to go back. He's the father of Atan, right? And Atan is the father of Jadaron. And Jadaron, right, which would be his grandson, is also listed as the husband of she's the husband of Jadaron, or Jadaron, Prester John. Here it says Lady Hannah. So this is where we came and said, oh, Lady Hannah is Rusadan. Lady Hannah is Rusadan. But very perplexing that they have her listed as the wife of both Prester John Jadaron and his granddad. You know what I'm saying? And then David Soslan is the husband of Queen Tamar. Right. Who I believe is the niece. Well, I think she's the sister of Rusadan, son of Rusadan, husband. Man, I think Tamar is the sister of Rusadan. One of the Rusadan. There's two different Rusadans, right? It's Aunt Rusadan and there's Princess Rusadan. It's like the Queen Rusadan and another Rusadan, because again, these are the Rus titles. Rus, right? So, okay. I'm just digging on that, my noggin. I'm just digging on that with you. Digging on the Jadarons, digging on this, David as sometimes, or saying as King David himself. Oh, okay. So, let me get it bigger. So, Prester John is sometimes called the son or nephew of David, but sometimes also called King David himself. Got it. Right. Because he's a David. He is King David. But he's also the son of a King David. And he's also the son of a King David. Grandson of a King David. And on and on and on. David. I think we're getting some more clarity in our biblical flow, especially all the stuff that's been removed. Now, David, king of the Hindus. Uh-oh. The Hindu would be in India, like India Superior. Prester John, also called David, right? Didn't they say King David? King David, India. King David, India. King David, Mexico, India. Got it. King David, king of the Hindu, is called by the people Prester John. David is called Prester John. The king, Prester John, descends from the son of King David. We shall learn that David was closely related with the sword of the Grail heroes with the test they may have to undergo. The Grail heroes sounds a lot like the author drop, right? Author in the Grail. All right, let's go. Great link from GWERERN.net. digging on, King Arthur, Prester John a little bit. Let's get a piece of this. During the 12th century, Christendom had firmly abandoned the concept of turning the other cheek in favor of supervillain scale plans for the world conquest. Emboldened by the taking of Jerusalem during the First Crusade, the European Christian monarch of the time were ready to rumble, but seizing the Holy Land and keeping it were two different things. And during a period of open war with the Saladin and his Muslim armies, they thought of an unexpected and powerful ally in a strategic location was an alluring prospect indeed. Come on, man. They were seeking Prester John, right? In the midst of all this turmoil, the Catholic leadership received word about the mysterious Eastern priest, and king, Melchizedek, known as Prester John, or Presbyter John, or Prestewane, or prete in French, which also just means melanated or black, they say, but it also means priest. So black priest, whatever you want to call it, melanated priest, red ruddy priest, Prester John, or any one of the dozen or so-called surrounding names. The ambiguity about the name reflected the ambiguity about the person. There are somewhere between dozens and hundreds of versions of the story of Prester John, and each more patently ridiculous than the last. Oh, okay, so this is somebody who just wants to doubt the legend, right? And yet there is likely some grain of truth buried within the hype, much like the legend of King Arthur. Yeah, well, we just got that. And there's a correlation between the Arthurian flow, you know what I'm saying? That which was, created with this falseness to it, this false genealogy, they said. Old Joffrey boy here created a false genealogies of kings. So what they want to call ridiculous, they're more referring to the falseness of Arthur than the reality of the Prester. Yeah, I mean, this is Arthurian studies, right? Yeah. The legend was born out of the historical impetus of real events occurring in the Far East. A distant world, a whole new world. India Superior, Prester John, a distant world that had little impact on the European consciousness since the invasions of the Huns in the 4th and 5th centuries. The Prester John legend later underwent transformation, adapting itself to new events taking place in the Far East, most notably the Mongol conquest of the 13th century. So you got to connect Prester John with the so-called Mongol, which just means great ones. Yeah. It's a victory lap, my knock. And every time I come back here, man, I get more and more clarity when they keep talking this Orient. Prester John and the Orient, man. Oh, yeah. This is their, high level, academia that we're digging on. We're not supposed to be looking into this. This is their academias, my knock. They don't want to give us this drop. They don't want to give us this drop. This is their academia. This is what they like to discuss, when they're all alone. They say no one's watching us. I made my noggin. This is their academia. The Prester John letter they're talking about, as we have it today, the Latin version of the letter survives in at least 469 manuscripts. 234 of these are the original Latin, with roughly 30 Latin copies from the 12th century. Zarnek provided the standard Latin editions in 1879, but he knew of only 96 manuscripts and only made use of 74 of these for his edition. A recent monumental study of the legend or the letter by Bettina Wagner has questioned some of Zarnek's editorial work, but for the most part, his edition of the original Latin version remains valid despite the fact that the manuscript count has more than tripled since this day, and for this reason I have followed Zarnek's edition below. In fact, the letter very quickly took on life of its own. Zarnek identified 5 interpolations, which he labeled A, B, C, D, and E, each of which added various new details to the descriptions of Prester John's kingdom. You think this is play? This Prester John letter, you think it's play? After examining 200 manuscripts, Wagner has revised the letter's textual traditions even further and has provided new editions of several variants which differ significantly from Zarnek's. These have not been presented here for reasons of space, and since these newly discovered variants generally present the same information but in different form, the editorial work of Zarnek and Wagner shows that in many ways the Prester John letter functioned almost as a genre of text rather than as a single piece of writing. Anaga, do you think this is play? And who's this Emmanuel that he was writing to? Oh man. Yeah, we're talking about the 3 Indies, man. The 3 Indies, man. Oh man. For the dismount, we'll come back to it. I just want to make sure we, hit these pieces here in this mystery of the Grail. You know what I'm saying? As we continue to enjoy our flow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is something that we do like we sleepwalking at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? A couple hours go by like we sleepwalking around here, man. So let's actually, jump back over here. All right, so yet there is some grain of truth buried within the hype, right? To craft a current or coherent narrative from the jumbled mess of stories is virtually impossible, but then coherence is vastly overrated, so let's just plunge right in. The story of Prester John is probably best summarized in multiple choice format. You must select more than one answer in each category. All right, so they go. Prester John or Prester Juan or Prester John was a king, pope, saint, caliph, pope, right? Now you got a new pope, right? But the Prester is the pope, you dig? In India, which one? Ethiopia, Asia, Africa, could be all the same thing. I mean, they call America Northwest Africa on their Mexican map, right? Who had a theocracy, monarchy, caliphate, or church. So depending on the story, they could say the Prester John was a saint pope in Asia who had a church of great power. And then you wouldn't even be thinking about this Naga Nagus, King of Kings, right? The last noble image of the Negro, right? You wouldn't even be thinking about it, right? Naga, with that legend, for the time being, all hope of the noble image, Hosea 3, of the Negro to counter the one that was coming with growing force out of West Africa. Now you're African American. That's your new image off the slave boat. What happened to your noble image, my Naga? Let's go, man. Let's go. Prester whatever was also commonly said to have been a descendant of the 3 wise men, 3 magi, and they rewrote him into this baby Jesus scenario, right? Gold, frankincense, and mirth. He supposedly carried a scepter carved with pure emerald. Same scepter Adam had, same scepter, Moshe had, right? In latter texts, Prester would become associated with the Grail, but this appears to have been entirely a literary gambit with no particular historical source, not unless you're connecting the fact that the Grail, this Melchizedek, the Grail, hey, the Grail is the function. The Grail is the function. Lord of the world, King of Salam, King of Peace, right? That is of peace. So again, we find justice and peace, the fundamental attributes pertaining to the Lord of the world. Even more pertinent information is provided by Renee Gwynen's good friend Julius Evola, which is what we just got in the Mystery of the Grail, and some Syriac texts mention is made of a stone that is a foundation or center of the world. Back to that tree business, right? Hidden in the primordial depths near God's temple, it is put in relation with the body of the primordial man Adam, who got the scepter. And interesting enough, with an inaccessible mountain place, the access to which must not be revealed to other people. I don't want to talk about this mountain place. Here, Melchizedek, in divine and eternal service, watches over Adam's body. In Melchizedek, we find again the representation of the supreme function of the universal ruler, which is simultaneously regal and priestly, priest king, Prester John. Here, this representation is associated with some kind of guardian of Adam's body who originally possessed the Grail and who, after losing it, no longer lives. Why does Adam no longer live when he loses the Grail? Because the Grail represents the function. Rather a function. So if Adam loses the function, he loses the Grail. He loses the function, he loses the Grail. He has no life, he has no function, right? This is found together with the motives of the mysterious stone and inaccessible sea. Clearly, the foundation stone of the world is the same as the black or hidden sun in the center of the earth, or the Grail stone, which is said to be hidden in that location, the center, okay? The center, right? We talked about that center tree. The Grail romances, knight or hero, provide us with much insight into the king of the world concept. He is represented in the story by one of the supporting characters, Prester John, a king who is mentioned in passing as ruling over a spiritual domain in the faraway east, and who quite fittingly is said to come from Davidic descent. Yeah, Prester John is a title, a name given, which designates not a given individual, but rather a function. So Wolfram van Etchenbach, and in the tutorial, Prester John is a title. The Grail we will see indicates from time to time the person who must become Prester John. Moreover, in the legend, Prester John designates one who keeps in check the people of Gog and Magog, who exercises a visible and invisible dominion, figuratively dominion over both natural and invisible beings, and who defends the access of the kingdom with lions and giants. Oh, Prester John. Right. David. Yeah, we're talking about the Grail. So yeah, he's associated. The Prester is associated with the Grail. We see that very clearly. We're just talking about the tree in the center. Let's just jump back on this for a minute. It's the best. It's the best Prester of all time, and it just feels so good to, talk about earthly paradise with my knives. You know what I'm saying? Fine print, man. Fine print. Legend of Alexander. Remember that drop with the connection between parallel, timelines and Alexander and the Prester, which developed some element of Callisthenes and Julius's Valerio narratives, corresponds somewhat to another saga of the 12th century, according to which Alexander, upon reaching the place where the souls of the just await the day of resurrection of the body, namely the earthly paradise, obtains a stone that is the facsimile of Frederick II's and Prester John's. And this stone is said, if you learn to discern its nature and power, you will be free of every mundane ambition. In every part of the East, there was and still is this tradition. If someone wishes to become king or lord, he hangs his leather or metal shield on this tree's branches until he is obeyed and acknowledged as such. This tree becomes a point of convergence of various meanings through verbal assonances. It is not the above mentioned symbol of the dry tree. Dry tree in this context is one of the interpretations of the expression arbor solki, which is translated as solar tree, solitary tree, and Seth's tree. Marco Polo, talking about the great Khan's country, wrote, they have the translation here. Moreover, Salki, which has an Arab root, may signify wide, high, lasting, and an English manuscript says that this was not the dry tree, but Seth's tree. So what's the dry tree? Since Seth grew it out of a sprout taken from the tree of knowledge. Whoa. Out of a sprout taken from the tree of knowledge? That is from the central tree of the Garden of Eden. The tree that bestows on him who finds it power and universal rule evokes a tradition concerning the primordial state, alluding to the Garden of Eden. Moreover, both the pair of solar and lunar trees and the double aspect of a tree of knowledge and a tree of victory refer back to the synthesis of the two powers that is inherent in that very state. Hey, follow me now. Let's go for the dismount. The synthesis predates the ensuing separation of the feminization of the spiritual dimensions of the materialization of the viral dimension, the connection of the tree of the empire with the tree in the middle of the earthly paradise as it emerges in these legends is quite natural considering the above mentioned relation that occurs between every true manifestation of the empire and the primordial state. The dryness of the tree refers to a period of decadence that must be overcome. So no water flowing, it's dry, right? Such a meaning is clear, for instance, in a legend according to which the tree will blossom again. Will the tree blossom again? Will the tree blossom again? Yeah. Will the tree blossom again at the encounter between Prester John and Emperor Frederick? Such a meaning is clear in the legend according to which the tree will blossom again at the encounter between Prester John and Frederick. The image of Prester John's kingdom Prester John's kingdom historically served as the foundation of the obscure idea of an integration of the forces hidden behind the symbols of chivalry, the empire, the crusades. Who's the foundation? In a materialistic transposition, this power and mysterious oriental, right, who was not a Christian, but a friend of Christians. Body bag. Because they keep saying Christian Prince. How many times I got to skip over that? Because we got so much other substantiating recon that he was not a Christian. Bang, bang, bang. So when we talk this oriental prince, when we start talking orientals around here, man, just remember they told us from the tip to tip, tip to tip, tip top. They told us and they showed us what an oriental looked like. And they say he's not a Christian, so don't get these towels crossed up with Christianity. This is the Hebrew towel, the mark, the sign, the towel. Yeah, I got you, Preston. He said, come on, man. I ain't no Christian, man. You know what I'm saying? I am the mysterious oriental. The mysterious oriental leader. Mysterious oriental Prester John. So you know what a mysterious oriental look like, right? Got it. He's not a Christian. Not a Christian, but a friend of Christians. Yeah, well, that's according to them. But they're searching for him for 500 years. 500 years. It can't be that friendly. It can't be that friendly. Come on. Was invoked to help the Christian endeavor. So they created a scenario that he was a friend, right? They made him a friend to them in their minds to tell their people, oh, it's okay. We're going to have help. We're going to have help against these Moors. We're going to have help during this most difficult time. We're going to have help in order to grant a victorious end to the Holy War after these hopes were disappeared, after the help in the form of a rescue naively conceived in military terms failed to materialize, and after people failed to recognize what was hidden behind the symbol of Prester John and his help, his legend lived on as an element of various myths and such as the saga of Ogier. Ogier the Dane? Ogier? An emperor who never died? Another hero. A Dane, right? Ogier. Prester John. What does Prester John have to do with Ogier? But what do the Ogier, have to do with the Olmecs? Nah, man. I don't think you hear me. They're bringing up Ogier, Managa. I didn't bring it up. I can't make this stuff up. But when we talk Kalelu, yeah. When we talk Kalelus and artifacts and bodies on bodies in Kalelus, and this Redmond, pomegranate, promised land, Hebrews already here. We're talking the Franks. We're talking the Russes, the Orient, Managa, the Theodoruses, the Makirs. Yeah. So after Makir's father died, his son Makir, right, then goes on to become the Western Exilarch. These are the rulers during this captivity, leader of all the Jews, the Hebrews, right? Oh yeah, bodies on bodies, swords in Arizona. I wonder whose frequency weapons these are, right? 775, Nehemiah Theodoric reconquers American Empire of Kalalus. Where? American Empire. Where? Prester John. India Superior. America, right? British Museum, 1530. India Superior. America. Prester John. Kalalu. For the dismount. Kalalus was ruled by Sylvanus Toltec, right? Soliman, hereditary ruler of this Hebrew Redmon pomegranate spot. Kalalus was founded in the 1st century BC by Babylonian exarch Sylvanus Ogam, or Brabo the Nasi, the ruler of Sumer or Somerset, a great Romani Hebrew ruler, soldier, ancestor of the Swanites. Hebrew word of the day, barber. A Barbary treaty, a Barbary. Has everything to do with the swans. The Knights are the Templar, which have everything to do with the Rus and the Franks. Part and parcel. Let's go. Yeah, the ships are shaped like a swan with its sails like the wings of a beautiful gliding white swan. Ships of Solomon, already here in the American Empire. After the defeat of Sylvanus Texas, the members of the royal family were sent back to Europe, where they were under protection of Nehemiah Theodorus. Family on family protection. The legends of Dune and Ogier are based on the activities of this family descended from Duan, Antigun, Ogier, Sylvanus Brabo, Soliman, Barber. Who are the Barbers? The legends of Ogier, the Dane, son of Godfrey, Cadrode, and Dune de Mayens actually refer to ThaWaDa de Dana. Ogier, ThaWaDa de Danan, or Dunan, who are also known as the Mananan or Maine of America. Mananan is Dananan. We're just talking Ogier. We're just talking America, where the giant ogre heads of the Olmec are found. So we're just talking Olmec. When you talk Ogier, you're just talking what they have a derogatory way of saying ogre or Olmec. And then we got this Regamon drop, right? Oh boy. And this, I keep saying we're going to comb through this link nice and slow again, and I'm going to leave it up for next time. Prester John 70, my naga, here we come. We popping off. The Olmec ogre image, but now the last noble image is no more, right? Right? All hope of the noble image went out the window because you got replaced by some West African thing, right? But all hope of the noble image left with the Prester John demystification. They said Prester John and his help, his legend lived on as an element of various myths, such as the saga of Ogier. Why would they compare Prester John with the saga of the Ogier or the Hoger? Unless we just talking ogre. Yeah, man. Can't make this stuff up, man. Ogier, ogre, oh man. American Empire, American Empire, India Superior, Prester John, Ogier, American Empire, Prester John, Ogier. Never die. Kind of like a fountain of youth, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a fountain of youth. Never die. He's a national hero taken into the depths of a mountain or locked in the cellars of Kronberg's castle to appear again whenever his land will need a savior. He's somewhere in a mountain, they say. Popping off until HaWah will raise him up. Jeremiah 30, right? Victory lap, my nigga. I can't make this stuff up. Until the world needs a savior, right? Well, we know HaWah is our only savior. But HaWah says that we'll have one shepherd. It is in the cycle of Charlemagne that Ogier's saga displays the features most interesting to this book, since it significantly brings together the various themes that I have individuated so far. Ogier of Denmark appears as one of Charlemagne's 12 knights. What? He got 12 apostles too? Charlemagne means great king. Not just the great Charles, but, Charles itself refers to this king, the great king. But he got 12 knights. This is really interesting. Who, after having been in conflict with that emperor, ends up assuming the traits both of a savior of the Christian world at the time of extreme danger and of a world conqueror. He extends his power over the entire East, and like Alexander, travels to the kingdom of Prester John, where he sees two trees, the solar and the lunar. Let's go. Let's get this tree drop for the dismount. These two trees, we may recall, correspond respectively to the tree of the universal power of the great Khan's legend and to the tree of the center associated with the primordial or paradisical state. My noggin. Columbus said this Orinoco River that flows out of Mount Roraima right here, all this water flowing out, all these special organisms and flowers and stuff that, is only up there, they said, right? Man, I mean, Columbus said the Orinoco River flows out of the terrestrial paradise. He says this river flowing, wherever it's flowing from, must be flowing out of paradise. And is this something they don't want us to know about orientation, that this is the actual center? Oh, the North Pole? Nah, man. North is south and east is west. Body bag for the illusion. To get north, you're going to have to go this way. But let go. Okay. Paradisical. Paradise, right? The Great Khan's legend associated with primordial paradisical or paradisiac state. Paradise. Interesting enough, here Prester John's kingdom is identified with Avalon. All right, man, they want to identify with everything, right? In their mythologies. But what's the foundation again, right? That is the center of the Hyborian traditions. Oh, remember that Hyborian map? Let's go. Moreover, a strict connection is established between the balsam. Oh, remember that guayacum dog-headed cure, my naga? Of the two trees and ogiers, assuming the form of he who always lives. Come on, man. Sounds familiar? Who will return one day? Jeremiah 30. Oh, now it's Jesus. All right. In this regard, in Otto von Diemeringen's German translation of the Travels of John Mandervall, we read, all right, it's a bunch of stuff in Latin translated. I think that's Latin. Translation, it is also said in those lands that Ogier was at those same trees and took the balsam which caused him to live so long. Then we keep reading about how, in this special place, in this tapuis, in these special areas, you can get special herbs. And even reading the Dragon Tree of El Dorado or Devil Tree of El Dorado. Love to Chef Candy. Can't wait for the Zahn readings. It's about to pop off because he's getting right back into it. And they talk about finding a couple different plants that give you more life. You know what I'm saying? So it's all adding up right here in Mount Roraima. Mount Roraima. Yeah, it's a very special. Oh, yeah. But though his book fancifully speculated on the existence of dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs with dragons before 1842, love the natural. Other prehistoric creatures on the top of the lofty plateau, what truly awaits the daring explorers of Mount Roraima surprisingly comes close, an airy frontier that seems to have been literally forgotten by time. Is this the tree of life, or the tree at the center, where you get that balsam so you live so long? Oh man, oh man. Yeah. We was talking about the supreme center. The function that he embodies is truly acting in him. Remain unknown, nor should it be confused with his own person or even attributed to him, since he disobeys this law and reveals where he has been. The law of time overtakes Ogier again. So now they want to get more into the Ogier flow, but we've been talking this tutorial, this Wolfram flow. If we take all this into consideration, it is very significant that in Wolfram van Echenbach's Prester John is thought of as a descendant of the Grail's dynasty, that in the tutorial, Percival, trust me, it's going to get way familiar because we're going to get into these romances. And, what better time than Prester John 70? And we're going to take a belly flop. I know we didn't get to it this time again, but I said we're going to belly flop all our Prester Johns, but not. You know what I'm saying? Go over here to the playlist, man, and, click on that Prester John playlist, and eventually we will do like a 2-3 minute belly flop, maybe either 70 or 71, maybe 70, you know what I'm saying? Just get a nice little recap. That'll be a nice time to recap. Prester John 70, you know what I'm saying? We're going to start right here in Prester John number 1. Hey, man. I'm over here kicking it, reading with my little ba'ad. Love to my beautiful girl, man. This was, 5 years ago, man. Look how beautiful and little she is. Now she's tall and gorgeous and beautiful, man. And wow. So she's been on this whole ride. All praise HaWah. And you got all the Presters. Make sure you got your Prester pack. If you have not ordered it, hit me up. Music at 432thedrop.com or hit up the drop shop at 432thedrop.com. Get your ether packs, your Presters, We just got a whole new shipment of the ether bands. So if you need that orientation drop, that flap drop, hit me up while they're getting is good and get you one of these ether bands while they're hot, my noggin. Yeah. Part 68. This is 69 we on now, baby. So yeah, we're going to do a nice little belly flop. You know what I'm saying? Maybe for Prester John, 70. But that Parsifal drop is coming in hot. Maybe on 71, we'll start that romance flow. Parsifal himself assumes the function of Prester John, right? And you'll read about it. And that it is in the latter's country. What country? America, Kalalus, that the Grail eventually ends up in order to indicate time after time who must absolve the function of Prester John. So where did it end up? Must be in India Superior. Where did it end up? They keep talking about this tree business, right? This tree at the center, my nigga. Source of the Orinoco, source of the Amazon. In the German versions of Ogier's saga, Prester John and the Great Khan are presented as two companions of Ogier. So which one? Is that Genghis Khan and Prester or what? Who created two powerful dynasties? These are various figurations of the inner unity of the same thing, variously expressed in a cycle of various legends that focus on this or that symbolic figure. The function. Yeah, the Prester. And, we'll pick it up here as well, digging on this Dante Inferno flow. And you didn't know that Dante Inferno was so closely correlated with this Mongol flow and the Great Khan flow, right? And the Prester flow. Oh, man. Greyhounds, dogs. Come on, man. Now we got dogs because we start talking about Dante Inferno, right? So here we go. Great place to pick it up for sure. And I said we could do a nice dismount back in the Prester John legend and its sources. Maybe we'll get one of these letters. You know what I'm saying? Just a heads up for next time. We'll talk about this fire feats in the Wolfram von Eschenbach Arthurian poem Parsifal. All right, we're talking the romances. Yeah. Remember Parsifal becomes Prester John, becomes the function. Okay. Child of the first marriage to a Moorish queen. So yeah, we're talking Nagas, right? So even if you see romance, heroes and knights, we're still talking black people, right? Blacks, right? So we'll get some of that, and it's gonna tie into who they call, let's see. Dodge all these advertisement hijacks here. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. I'm trying to look how they just block everything. I can't even get nothing. I can't even get nothing with y'all people. Come on, man. I might have to reload this thing because they do a lot to distract us. But this got all the drop. All right, so who do they call here? Hold up, man. Let's get this out the way. Hijack City. PSA, call it Hijack City. All right, man. Repants, right? Repants. It's a name that keeps popping up. Destroy. She. Love to the Aqua. I told you I ain't going to leave you out. We're going to have a Khalifa series popping off at 432. It's all happening. She whom the Grail suffered to cry itself had the name of repents destroy. So, in this tutorial, in this flow, in the romances, you also run into the aquas who also are the function of the Grail. And perhaps they're both the function. Perhaps the Prester Sheba flow must come together to really have the function, or else they can't even have the offspring, right? So, yeah. Yeah. I don't get too deep, but we are talking paradise. She continues to live in earthly paradise, right? All the pure ones perish in the flames except Escalamanda. Once she was sure that the Grail was in a safe place, she climbed to the summit of Tabar, transformed herself into a white dove, and flew to the mountains of Asia. Esclamarte did not die. She continues to live in earthly paradise. Yeah, man. Oh, ho, 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 yeah. We're getting warmer. We are getting warmer. And there's a lot on this Parsifal flow for us to pick up. And now here it says, Parsifal heals the Fisher King and Fortas and becomes a new Grail King. It is revealed that Fair Feast cannot see the Holy Grail because he is not Christian, right? Or not pure. But let's go. He agrees to be baptized if it would help him in love. And as soon as he renounces his heathen god Jupiter, so he left Jesus alone. Jupiter alone. He left Jupiter or Zeus or Jesus or Isus, Jesus. He left the heathen god Jupiter alone, right? Now he can see the Grail because he left the heathen alone. So now he can see, right? Dracan, he can see. He marries the Grail bearer. So in this story, the Grail bearer is Repents de Shoyi. And after celebrating Parsifal's coronation, Feats and his new wife return to the lands in the east. Repents gives birth to Prester John. Uh-oh. 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 For the dismount, and they preach Christian. Hey, come on, man. Gives birth. So Red Pants that we just got here. Red Pants. She whom the Grail suffered to crier itself had the name Red Pants. She was the nature of the Grail. She was the nature of the Grail, that she who had the care of it was required to be of perfect chastity and to have renounced all things false, right? No power before your power. And here we got that the Grail bearer is repents and that she gives birth to Prester John, man. Hey, man, let's go back, man. Let's go back as we make our dismount. Let's go back to the victory lap, my night. Because, we still having a victory lap around here. We still having a victory lap around here. It's too good. It's too good. So he marries. So in this story, all right, this Fisher King, right, marries the Grail Bearer, and they have Prester John. They call her Repents, all right. Here in Genie, Prester John or at least David Soslan, his mother is Rusadan. She would be David Soslan's mother. So is she the Grail bearer right before Prester John? I don't know. What about old Raji? Old Raja. His wife, Lady Hannah, is also the mother of David. Would she be this, Grail bearer as well? Same person? You know what I mean? Something to think about, right? I mean, we're just digging on it. We are just digging on repants or Rusadan, who gives birth, right? Rusadan or Rika, you know, Princess Rusadan, or one of the Rusadan. Would she be the Grail bearer? Let's go. Got to get love to the Aquas. Because you see how we got to do it together. You see how we got to put the story together. It's not always about us, Ox. We got to put it together with the Aquas. So she renounced all things, right? And then it gets into the Cathars and the Grail and some really good stuff, man. You know, she continues to live an earthly paradise. All right, it's getting good. It's getting good. I needed y'all to see what was popping. Yes, there's a legend of the flying carpet. And yeah, we're just talking about the queens, right? Anyone who watches Disney's Aladdin remembers the magic carpet. As a method of transportation, carpets appeared most often in Middle Eastern tales, with the most notable examples being 1001 Nights. In one of the stories, Prince Hussein acquires a magic carpet in the Indian city of Biznagar, Naga, in the Naga city, okay, which teleports its user rather than makes him fly. Teleportation. However, enchanted rugs have in fact appeared in the legends and myths of numerous nations, and not always as fabled. The King Solomon, known from the Bible, was famous not only for his wisdom, but also a glorious flying carpet. Solomon the Builder, right? Back to the old gear, back to the Olmecs, back to the Presters. Made a green silk and golden weft. The carpet was 60 miles long. Wow. And just as wide. 60 miles wide, 60 miles long. The Jewish sage Ben Sharia gave two versions of how the king got his hands on such a magnificent treasure. The first account claims that the queen of Sheba, or Tamar, who also appears in the Bible, gave Solomon his flying carpet as a proof of her undying love. However, the king was more interested in the construction of the Temple of Jerusalem, and Queen's gift went to one of his many couriers. When the news about it reached the queen, angered, she refused to have anything more to do with the flying carpets. Thus, the knowledge on how to make them was lost. The other version says that the carpet was a gift from HaWah. With such splendid gift, Solomon's pride grew, and HaWah decided to punish the king. When the carpet was in midair, it shook, and as a result, the 40,000 men sitting on it fell to their deaths. Okay. Not all rulers who were fascinated with flying rugs as Solomon According to Vino Pelgion, Diagnon, Lumion, many leaders consider magical carpets blasphemous and ordered their destruction. So this wasn't no play. They were ordering the destruction of the magic carpets, man. So did Sheba give Solomon the magic carpet? Mongolian army massacred the last artisans who weaved flying rugs? Is it play? And stole the last of them when prisoner told Genghis Khan that those carpets are more agile than famed steep's ponies. The angered chief decapitated him in order to burn all looted carpets and confiscated any that were left. The flying carpets appear in Rusadan folktales, and in one of them Baba Yaga, an old witch, gave one to the Ivan the Fool, among other magical trinkets which were supposed to help this folk hero in his quest. Okay, I'm gonna lead this up. Definitely have to talk about these flying carpets, man. That's for sure. Because I would love to see what's up with that drop. And again, love to Dragon Child, who got the same link, but he got it in the translated version. And we're going to go in on this next time. Because my bro is popping off, man. All my bros, Dragon Child, Khandra Khan, you know what I'm saying, Tiplar, everyone dropping this Yapa drop, been doing it for a long time. I'm going to leave this link. It's all in the drop chatter for you, man. For the dismount. Prester John, legend and its sources. It's all about the last noble image. You've gone a long time without an image. A king, a khan. Yeah. Let's belly flop into a letter about King David. And I'm really going to be belly flopping here, man. For the dismount. Because we're making a victory lap. Let's go. Wow. You got that towel. You hitting that mark. Yeah. It's a nice little belly flop here. They just put us into the history of Damietta, Oliver of Patternborn. This is Prester John, the legend and his sources, compiled by Keegan Brewer. These are real letters from this medieval time period. I got the hard copy, Love to the Battle. Late 1220s, let's go. Late 1220s, we right in the wheelhouse, my naga, of Lady Hannah, right? 1195. I'm going 1220s, which means I must go to the David Soslands or the Raja Ahiraja Cholas. Or the David Soslands. And how they go from 1195 to 1300. They're going to skip the entire 1200s. Oh, estimated before 1300. Okay. Let's go. Oliver of Patternborn was present in the Fifth Crusade. So this is all right, 1145. So yeah, it's already popped off. And who are they looking for? Prester John. The Prester. Let me get my alkaline for this dismount. Let me get my alkaline for the dismount. Wow, let's go. Oliver Patternborn, was present on the Fifth Crusade and was one of its most intimate chroniclers. He later went to become Bishop of Patternborn. In essence, his writings on Prester John reinforce the depth to which the Prester John idea has spread throughout those involved with the Fifth Crusade. Oliver's theological tone provides a powerful depiction of King David, here, son of Prester John. Right. So that puts us right at the David Soslan situation, who's the son of Raja Hiraja, or Prester John. The Pandy, right? Let's go. Son of Prester John, depicted as King David, as the hammer of Asia, and as with Jacques de Vitry, it seems likely that Oliver delivered sermons to the Fifth Crusaders using similar representations of Prester John. Oliver's account bears many similarities with Jacques, and both were clearly present at the reading of the prophecies. And Oliver tells us that it was on Pelagius's order that the text was read aloud before a large group of crusaders. At the end of the excerpt, Oliver reveals how fear of King David affected military decision-making in the Holy Land. Search for HaWah and David. Why? Because David strikes fear in the hijack. Jesus, JC don't strike no fear, no hijack, because that duplication ain't never went to war with nobody, right? So he has no receipts. Just talk, right? Just talk. In a new test, all power's been given to me now, right? He wants all power. He ain't the king. Nah, they had fear when it came to David. They had fear when it came to Joshua. They had fear when it came to Moshe. That's a correlation, a repetitive cycle when it comes to these Davids. And they had fear. This fear of David affected military decisioning in the Holy Land and Egypt. Yeah, where is the land of Prester John, Managa? Where's Egypt? Where they got the Grand Khan, yeah? Grand Khan, Prester John. That's why we got to get back on the Joseph flow, because he was ruling, you know what I'm saying? He was the man in Egypt. If not the Pharaoh, he was the number one guy, right? He had the power. Joseph, right? In Egypt, right? Moshe was holding it down. Then he has to free the people out of Egypt. So the Hebrews, the Hyksos, all of this, right, has a lot to do with this Grand Khan. Okay, let's go. Before the capture of Damitia, a book written in Arabic was known to us, whose author did not say in it whether he was a Jew, Christian, or Saracen, but whether he may have been. He foretold evil things which Saladin had cruelly inflicted on the Christian people in the destruction of Tiberias and the victory which he had over the Christians when he led the king of Jerusalem and his princes captive, possessed the holy city, destroyed Aslan, and how he attempted to seize Tyre but did not manage to, and many others which the sins of the time deserved. He also foretold the destruction of the gardens of palm trees in the city of Damitia, which we had seen done when we inspected this book through an interpreter. It also added that Damitia would be captured by the Christians. It did not mention the name Saladin, but depicted him by means of his black eyes and golden standards. In addition, it foretold that a certain king of the Nubian Christians would destroy the city of Mecca and cast out the scattered bones of Muhammad, or of Muhammad the false prophet, and many other things which have not yet come to pass, but if they were completed, would result in the elevation of Christianity, the suppression of the Agarenes, i.e. Muslims. Agar like Hagar, Khan. We're talking tribes, right? We know that certain pagan Gentiles had the Holy Spirit in their mouths, but not in their hearts, and that they clearly prophesied about Jesus. Come on, man. We should not be amazed at this. If pure water flows through the stone's channel, are we all about that pure water? I will begin and I will make an end, says HaWah. Behold, I shall make a word, and whoever shall hear it, both his ears shall ring. Mine is the dominion in the kingdoms of men. My counsel shall stand, and all my will shall be done. There is no one who is strong enough to resist my countenance. There is no wisdom, there is no prudence, there is no counsel, except the disposition of my will. That's why Solomon got to pray to HaWah to get that wisdom, to get that counsel, my nagi. Or else, if it's not by HaWah's will, he can't have. If it's not by the Abba's will, you ain't gonna have mama. For the whole world before me is as the least grain of the balance, and as a drop of the morning dew that falls down upon the earth. Who shall say to me, what have you done? Or who shall withstand my judgment? I have found David, my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him, king of the Indians. In India Superior, David. Prester John. King of the Indians. India. Superior Naga. So you read it in Hosea 3, Jeremiah 30, Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel 34, Psalms 18, how HaWah hears David. I have found David, my servant, with my holy oil have I anointed him, king of the Indians, whom I have ordered to avenge my wrongs, to rise up against the many-headed beast. To him I have brought victory against the king of the Persians. I have placed a great part of Asia beneath his feet. The king of the Persians raised into excessive pride, right? So he's fighting against the Persians, which is why this Dawi exarch is the exarch of Babylon and Georgia. Babylon has everything to do with Persia, man. Persian captivity, Babylonian captivity, exarchs. Let's go. Let's get it bigger for the dismount. The king of the Persians raised in excessive pride, wished to be the monarch of Asia, King David, whom they call the son of Prester John, won the first fruits of victory against him. Then he subjected to himself other kings and kingdoms. And as we have learned from the report that has reached far and wide, there is no power on earth strong enough to resist him, man. There's no power on earth strong enough to resist him. Son of Raja Prester John. Receipts, my nigga. Prester's son is David, right? King David, who they call the son of Prester John, won the first fruits of the victory. There's not an army on earth. No power on earth is strong enough to resist him. He is believed to be the executor of divine vengeance, the hammer of Asia. Which one? Yeah, man. Let's get it from here. This book is also in many ways in agreement with that which we made mention above, the great many letters written about the victory of King David, along with his common fame amongst Christians and Saracens. So he's famous among the Christian and the Muslim, right? But he's the Hebrew that's not down with their Christian Jesus or their Muslim Muhammad's. He's King David. Lend support to this prophecy, right? Also, as proof of this, we saw captive Christians freed by King David's messengers in Baghdad, whom the king of Babylon captured at the siege of Damietta and sent to the caliph as a gift. While these things were taking place in Egypt, a Christian attack? Okay, Seraphis, king of the city of Rages, or Edessa, Coradine, the lord of Damascus, with the princes of Hamath and Homs in Syria, have amassed a huge army with a multitude of cavalrymen from the eastern parts. They came together near the Homs, because of which a great fear struck the inhabitants of Antioch, Acre, and the other coastal cities, whose warriors were absent, having been sent on an expedition. Those at the White Castle in the city of Tripoli, more, were especially concerned about his gathering of troops. Man, these Moors did not want that in Tripoli, right? More, right? The informed Afro-named princes deliberated long and earnestly whether they themselves should come to the aid of Egypt or divide the Christian armies by besieging one of the Saracens' fortresses. They were influenced by the power of King David, the conqueror, who was powerfully driving forward against the king of the Persians at the border of Persia and Baghdad. And on account of him, they were afraid to go far from their lands. They also reflected that the castles of the Hospitallers, or the Templars, could not easily be captured in a short time. Finally, the council of those urging advance into Egypt prevailed. Yeah. All these great, drops are, drops on the Prester on the flow, the Mongol flow, the advent of the Mongol flow, you know what I'm saying? Prester John features in a number of these accounts, and for the first time, a number of European writers began to wonder whether his fame was justly deserved. So now they want to say, well, maybe he don't exist. Maybe his kingdom ain't what we thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Prester John never existed at all. Then why were you looking for him for 500 years? Huh? Come on, Hijack City. This is Prester John, installment number 69, my night. We did it. We did 60 for the real one, Neighborhood Nip. Next one up is 70. You know what I'm saying? 7, man, for the day of rest, man. You know what I'm saying? And we'll belly flop and have a good time enjoying, some of our great work throughout the years and belly flopping and Prester Johns. And I'm going to fall back and belly flop and, see where it takes us, man. But they've been searching for the priest king. Hosea 3, you will wake up and remember and do the same thing. But first, UKTC, all praise HaWah. Shalom to the tribe. And it's an unbelievable vibe to fly. Dracan style, Dracan coon. 9 above, high in the ether with my noggins. Stay up, suit up, choose up.